Van Jones is getting quite a bit of crap from people. He's another one that's under attack because of the comments that he made recently about Zora Mandami's win, but not just Zora Mandami, also the comments that he shared recently with Scott Jennings about the case for Israel. Now, Van, again, in my opinion, I think he's being used by Israel as a token. And I want to be very clear about this because I don't think I said this before. Van Jones' job is to not just support Israel, but to establish a stronger community and connection between the Black community and Israel. That's his assignment. If people are not aware, he is trying to basically make the case for Israel to the Black community, and he wants to build a strong coalition there. He's a puppet. That's the plan. That's the assignment. Let's get into what he said here. This was after Zora Mandami won. I want you to hear what he said here.
I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more, but I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think that Mandami is the one you need to hear from tonight. There are a lot of people trying to figure out, can I get on this train with him or not? Is he going to include me? Is he going to be more of a class warrior, even in office? I think he missed a chance tonight to open up and bring more people into the tent. I think his tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like there's a little bit of a character switch here where the warm, open, embracing guy that's close to working people was not on stage tonight. And there was some other voice on stage. That said, he's very young and he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. And I wouldn't write him off, but I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight. And I think that will probably cost him going forward.
Cost him going forward. Let's bring Van back up on the screen here for just a second. Guys, can I ask you a question? Does Van Jones complain about the way that Netanyahu speaks? Does Van Jones complain about the rhetoric or the tone that is used by IDF soldiers? Does Van Jones complain about the tone that is used by politicians like Randy Fine and others that are rabid Zionists and said kill all the Palestinian people? Does Van Jones complain about the genocide in Gaza? But here he is tone policing the way that Zora Mandami chose to celebrate his win. And let me be clear, it's not really about that. Zoran could have came out there all smiles and said, everybody, let's work together. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And could have been that same way. And Van Jones still would have found a way to attack it because he's a puppet. He's a token used by Israel to make sure that the Israel agenda is a priority and continues, and also is a priority for Black Americans as well. That's what it's used for. And Zoran ran on BDS, said he would not go to Israel. So we're talking about a stark difference here. This is who Van Jones is. A puppet. There are strings attached to him, but they're invisible. You just can't see them. He moves how he's told to move. He's been outed multiple times. Taking money here, taking money there. An agent of sorts. This is who Van Jones is. And what people have to understand is that, first of all, the comments that he made about dead babies, like it was nothing in Gaza, he made that on Bill Maher's show. I don't even understand how Van Jones is even allowed to still come on and sit at these round tables at CNN after what he said. If he would have made that comment about Israelis, he wouldn't have had that job. But because he said it about Gazans, he gets to keep his gig. You literally have a Black person making the case for a racist genocidal state. You can't get more bought off than that. He was another one of these college students that was an activist back in the day, and they got their hands on him, and they really go after people like that. Hakeem Jeffries was also once an activist in college. They came after him too. They take these Black activists that are a little bit more radical, and they give them a suit, give them some money, and use them as tokens. As long as you have Van Jones walking around here advocating for the pro-Israel cause, Israel can point to him and say, we're not outrageous, we got Van Jones. So he had to come in and say what he said. And look at Scott Jennings. Because you see, they working together on this, right? See, Van Jones said it too. See, not just me. The sellouts sell out. Then he went on to say this, and this is the one I think that, we'll come to that one in a second. Let's go to this one first. Let me show you what Charlemagne and them said about that. This is funny.
Up tonight, and I think that will probably cost him going.
Man, shut the F up ever. Okay? Damn. There was no opportunity missed. The man just won. All right? He just won. After you won, yes, you're going to celebrate. Yes, you're going to talk loud. What do you mean he wasn't warm enough? He took a victory lap. And he deserved to take a victory lap because he won. I just don't understand how in the era of Trump, we still telling people how to talk. The language of politics is dead, and Donald Trump killed it. And you know when you can really talk that talk? After you win. All right. I listened to Zoran's whole speech because I was trying to figure out what the hell Van could have been possibly talking about.
Yeah. So I actually agree with Charlemagne on that one. Like, this is ridiculous. Just shut up. Just be quiet. Go take your milk dud head and just be quiet for once. Just shut up. You sell out. You bought sell out. I've never seen anything like this before. This guy's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, I can't even imagine what a conversation would be like with Van Jones, like in private. You know, he's one of those people who just walk up to you. And I think I would honestly say to him, if I ever saw him in person, I think I would honestly say to him, you're so fake. Your face, your eyes, everything about you, just say fake it and fake, fake. Nobody should trust you. You sell out. It's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. I've never seen someone tap dance. I've never seen a Black person tap dance this hard for Israel. We can also go back to this rally here. Does everybody remember when he had that Freudian slip and he said, we got to stand up against Muslims?
Let's take a stand here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslims. Let's take a stand here against hatred. Let's take a stand here against hatred of all kinds. Let's take a stand here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslims.
That was him speaking at a pro-Israel rally. You don't see him go speak at a pro-Palestine rally. Van Jones used to make the case for Palestine back in the day before they got him a suit. Funny how that happens. Same thing happened with Barack Obama. They get them. And then he went on to say this. Jesus Christ. CNN commentator Van Jones argues, because of the population, why we have to protect Israel. Listen to this.
There are 1.3 billion Chinese people in the world. God bless them. There are 1.4 billion Indians in the world. God bless them. There are 1.3 billion Africans in the world. God bless us. There are 1.4 billion Catholics. I'm a Protestant. 1.4 billion Catholics in the world. There are 2 billion Muslims. There's only 15 million Jews left in the whole world. Only 15 million left. Their numbers would have been massively bigger if it weren't for the Holocaust and the centuries of violence against them before.
Pause. I want everyone to pay attention to what he did. When he's talking about these numbers, watch this, watch this, watch this. Hold on.
There are 1.3 billion Chinese people in the world. God bless them. There are 1.4 billion Indians in the world. God bless them. There are 1.3 billion Africans in the world. God bless us.
Pause. Some of you in the chat already spotted what I spotted. You see what he did? Notice he didn't want to say black people, right? So in order to make us be larger, he says Africans. So he doesn't say black people, because if you bring up the number of black people, our number is a lot lower, isn't it? We're not in the billions. We're not in the millions. So he says Africans to make us seem like we're larger than what we are. This is going to be important when I break this down. Let's go on a little bit more.
There are 1.4 billion Catholics. I'm a Protestant. 1.4 billion Catholics in the world. There are 2 billion Muslims. There's only 15 million Jews left in the whole world. Only 15 million left. Their numbers would have been massively bigger if it weren't for the Holocaust and the centuries of violence against them before.
Pause. So here's the thing. When we are talking about black people here in the United States, right? What happened to us? What happened to the generations that came before us? Now, I'm not just talking about slavery. That's the easy one. I'm talking about war on drugs, mass incarceration. I'm talking about redlining. I'm talking about environmental poisoning black communities intentionally. Wouldn't our numbers be larger if all these things didn't happen? So I had to say this to prove a point. And again, I have love for everybody, but I'm trying to show you the game that Van Jones is playing. Van Jones is saying it the way that he's saying it, because if he said it the way that I said it, then the white minority is not now prioritized. This has been the game. So as long as you don't really come down with us and explain what happened to black Americans, which he used to do more of, and he doesn't as much anymore, when you don't get down to what really happened to us in this country, then it's easier for you to put the white minority ahead of us, and they are prioritized. Because you see, I really don't see Van Jones going around there like clapping for us like this. I don't see him going on to all these different podcasts saying this needs to be paid and is owed to black Americans. I don't see Van Jones doing this, but I see Van Jones, similar to Richie Torres, going on all these damn shows, speaking at all these events to advocate for the Israeli population. Now you look at me and you tell me he's not being used as a token. You tell me that there aren't black people that are being used by Israel, by the ADL, by AIPAC to advocate for their cause and not to advocate for the cause of their own people. I got a problem with that. This is what we run into, folks. Let him finish.
And you have 15 million left, and half of them live in Israel. Half of them, by the way, if you want to play the color game, are people of color who are Jews that got chased out of Yemen, Mizrahi and Sephardic Jews. They got chased out of Yemen. They got chased out of Egypt. They got chased out of Ethiopia. And they share their country with 20% Arabs.
These are AIPAC talking points. So now we want to do people of color. You see what he's doing now? So now it totally not talking anything about the Palestinians. Nothing about the Palestinian people. The Israelis aren't occupied. The Israelis aren't oppressed. The Israelis aren't starving. They don't have malnutrition. They don't have they're not polluted. They don't have to deal with all these things. But look at who he is making the case for. Look at who Van Jones is prioritizing. And he's not going to sit up and tell you about all them damn settlers
who have mosques and rights inside of Israel, but it is the tiniest little place in the world, smaller than, the people say smaller than New Jersey. It is smaller than Phoenix County in Arizona. And that's where half of the world, the remaining Jews in the world, are clinging to their existence. And when
I don't care if it's smaller than someone's backyard. That is besides the point. So because it is a small place, and because, oh, well, there's only this amount of people, so we got to have this. So we should excuse genocide. We should excuse apartheid, oppression, occupation, which Van Jones long time ago used to talk about. Doesn't talk about that anymore. So Van Jones knows what's up. Van Jones knows what is happening in Israel. He knows what the Palestinian people are going through. He is being paid to push a different agenda. And it's just, it's so disgraceful. This is the same guy that was crying on TV after Trump won. And he said, I can now tell my kids that they don't have to worry about being in a bigoted place. And they don't have to worry about the color of their skin. And oh my God, I don't have to tell my kids to deal with this anymore. Do you tell your kids why you support a racist genocidal state? Netanyahu's worse than Donald Trump. Do you tell them that?
When that group comes under attack, humanity has a special responsibility to defend them. Now, sometimes you're going to like their government, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to like their political policies, their economic policies, their military policies. That is completely fine to debate. But the idea that the West should abandon them to their fate, we already ran a 3,000-year experiment where Jews did not have a state, and it ended with Hitler's hell and Hitler's ovens. We are not going to run that experiment again. We don't have to do it again. We already did it. And anybody who can't understand the basic logic of that needs to explain why they can't do basic math about who in the world is the most microscopic minority that deserves the support of humanity.
So do you see what he's doing? This is why. This is the one times I tell you guys, I love everybody. We advocate for, I advocate for anybody on the show, anybody who's oppressed. We advocate for people who's oppressed on the show. But Van Jones is doing some trickery there. There's a reason why he said Africans and he didn't say Black people, because he knows the numbers would be significantly lower. So he continuing to make it seem as though our fight and our flight is not as important. So we are pushed to the bottom of the list once again, this time by one of our own. It's a sad state of affairs. It really is. And we got some people out there that decided to take some money. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm sincerely, I'm happy that more Americans are waking up. I really am. But Van Jones knows what exactly is happening over there. But he wants you to try to make the case for, So I want everybody to remember this. Because when Van Jones comes for every Black organization, when Van Jones wants to come speak at your event, you need to know he's coming there with an agenda. His agenda is not just to come there and to advocate for issues for the Black community. His agenda is also to make and establish and seal that coalition with Israel in the Black community. I'd say it right now. And everybody, you let them know who's watching. Tell them yourself. If you're a Black organization, don't invite Van Jones to come speak at your event. Don't invite him. You know what his agenda is. He has a hidden agenda. It's not just him. I said the same thing about Cory Booker. You can leave his ass alone as well. Leave Hakeem Jeffries alone. God forbid, don't even look at Richie Torres. That's the agenda. That's why he's being used. That's why you continue to see him being propped up. And we just have to be careful. And this goes for any group, Latino, indigenous. You just got to be careful. Be very careful that members of your own community aren't used to work against you, to make sure that you build a coalition with Israel so that your issues for your community are now at the bottom. Because that's exactly what happens. A complete and utter clown. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.